witches, wise men, wise women. They were all outcast. They all felt like you. Outcast. Not a part of society, on the outskirts, different, alone, frightened, nervous. But they also felt the pull of something wild. And that wild was the Fae. The wild, ancient spirits, the old. Now, the Grimburers didn't just write books, okay? They knew something, just like the old wise women, the old wise man, the ones that were seen as odd or different, just like you feel, or you're seen as. What you've got to remember, the Fae are just not just characters in stories. They are the pulse of the land. They are the ancient ones. And when we read stories of Fae, or we hear them, we're remembering something very ancient. Does that resonate with you? Does anybody relate to what I'm saying? If you relate to that, say yes. Does anybody? Yes, Sam, good. I was going to say, have we got the right people here? Let me know. If not, there's no point being here. Does that relate to you? Yes, says Kat. Good. So the Grimburver, yeah, like a calling. Absolutely. Spot on, Sam. Like a calling. It's not for everybody. That's why I want to be making sure who I'm talking to here. So really, the Grimburvers, they were authors, but back in the day, they were actual fact, they were witches. They were actually real witches, just like a lot of you here. Do we have witches here? If you're a witch or a spiritual person or a magical person, okay, let me know. Just let me know. If you're a witch, a magical person. Yes, Finn, you are. I love the hearts. Drop an emoji if you don't want to say anything. If you class yourself as magical, spiritual, witchy, unicorn, fairy, you're all welcome. Yeah, Julia, you are, Juliet, absolutely. I will count in for you for that. So, witchy people. Yes, Ashley, that's good. Welcome. Are you following? I haven't seen you around. It's nice to have you in our fairy burrow. Yes, says Latch, that's good. Now, the Grimburers were witches like you. But back in them days, it was just like these days. You know, they, probably worse. They were seen as odd, different. Because they too had the soul and the fire of the old ones. They too were connected with the Fae, the ancient ones, the little people. So anything or anybody who's different will get kind of pushed out from what society calls normal, which they want to be normal. Hi, Strawberry Joe. I couldn't read your message. Oh, I just missed that comment. I'm not all magical, but intrigued and fascinated. That's good. So if that's another one. So if you're you might not be a witch, but if you're intrigued by magic, drop an emoji. That's a great one, Strawberry Joe. I like that one. Okay. So they had a calling with the Fae. So what they decided to do, which a lot of our authors have, which we can go into, is because they could not perform their magic, because they could not go out there and openly, like we do today, connect with the fairy worlds, with the Fae, perform our magic and live our magic, okay? Sort of going out there, feeling the ancients, feeling the pulse of the land, connecting with the spirits of the land, of the earth. They couldn't do that, because if they did that, even if they went to the forest, okay, their hooded cloak, that's why they wore hoods actually, to not be recognised, they would be, witch, consulting with the Fae, dancing with the Fae. Okay, and then awful things would happen to them, which we all know. So they had to be very careful. Now, like you being a magical person yourself, imagine if you couldn't talk about what you felt in your magical wisdom. What if you couldn't, Sam, you're very enthusiastic. Imagine if you couldn't talk to anybody what you were feeling when you connected with the forest. Well, imagine what you felt like when you lit a candle and you decided to connect with the salamanders. Or how you felt when you were swimming in the ocean and just feeling the breeze of the air. connecting with your magic, your everyday magic, connecting with that universe, connecting with that fire inside you as a witch, that wisdom, that love, that groundingness, and that, you know, even like just connecting with the trees, the rocks, the water, the animals. Imagine if you could not talk to anybody at all about that. What would you do? Would you feel like going pop? Would you feel like you'd feel like exploding? You'd have all this psychic energy, this magical energy, this ancient wisdom, this calling inside you. Because remember, they were witches too, and they had the calling, but they were not allowed to use that energy. They weren't allowed. They didn't have TikTok. They couldn't come on here and express themselves. That they daren't. Not even in their houses. You know, even at their neighbours or their best friends, somebody would, you know, tell on them, and then they'd be marched off and, you know, never seen again. Yeah, it's like, imagine if all that magical knowledge and all that calling would still have come. They would have been drawn. They would have been wanting to go to the forest, connecting, lighting the candles, connecting with the forest, leaving their offerings. But they couldn't. So they had to find a way of releasing that calling, that magic, that energy. They still had to find a way to work with their calling, because that was their destiny. Does this make sense? They had to find a way to express themselves, to still walk the path of magic, to still connect with the ancient ones, the spirits of the land, the sea, the air, whatever. Okay, they had to express themselves. They had to get that calling out. It was their destinies. A lot of witches have destiny callings. Yes, it makes sense, Angela. Yeah, can you imagine holding out then? So what a lot of them did, and Grimm Brothers are very, very famous for this. They decided to write. You guessed it. What do you think they decided to write? Yes, it was done all in secret beside closed doors. And that was even rare, Sam. This is why they used to wear hooded cloaks into the forest, the fairy witches. But then that was even risky. So what they did is very clever. What do you think? Yes, Sam! They wrote the Grimm books, which a lot of authors did. And I'm going to name some in a minute. So that's how they express themselves. They took the fairy, and they mixed it in a little bit of magic with fantasy. So those in charge, those who would have dragged them away and destroyed them for their magic, their wisdom, just thought it was stories. Wasn't nothing else but stories. Some scary, some not so scary, but very magical stories. Now, yes, they had magic in, but they were just stories. According to those who were blind, those who did not see, they were just stories. So by taking fantasy and real witchcraft and kind of hiding real witchcraft amongst the moss, if you like, the whispers in the story, they could still, you know, get the magic out there. They could still express themselves. They were planting seeds for the next generation of witches, which is you, and which is those before and those to come. So it was hidden in a story. Yes, Sam, it's a true story. Grimm Brothers were witches. And a lot of witches have done that. And I've got a big list of witches who've done that who are famous for you. And how magical is that? So not only did they able to express themselves and get that urge out and that calling and complete their destiny, they were planting seeds for those who could hear, those who could see. Because not all can hear and not all can see. And those witches, as we call them, those who are called, they would hear and they would see amongst the story. They would be able to separate or feel the difference of the fantasy and the real. They'd be able to touch the magic, heal the magic. They would feel like they were there. So these stories were not just for bedtime, okay? They're doorways. They're magical portals into another world. So do you feel you have 1 foot in this world and 1 foot in a different world? Now, the foot in the different world, does it feel softer? Does it feel magical? Does it feel exciting? Does it bring something up in you? Does it heal you? Does it heal your inner child? Do you feel safe over in that foot? But the foot that's in this world, does that feel anxious? Yes, says Kat, totally do. Hi, Simon. Yes, says Kate. The foot in this world, does it feel anxious, scared, fearful? Yes, says Angela. Magical calmness, yes. You're starting to feel like that? That's good. That's really good. I like that, Mr. Nightwork. You're knowing it. You're hearing it. Angela, yes, Kate. So you've got the soft, enchanted, different foot over here, where you want to enter. It feels like you're being pulled. But then over here, you've got this foot here in this world that's frightening, fearful, don't fit in, feel like you never have. Cruel, nervous, scared, trauma, all those things. But you've got to live this world. But really, you want to put 2 foots in that world. Who feels like that? Yes, I feel more alive on the Fae side. Yes, well, yeah. Or maybe have you asked yourself, maybe they're calling you. Maybe you are remembering something that is very wise and old and ancient. Maybe you were a witch in a past life and you're just being called back to your roots. Definitely have connections. Yeah, and this nightmare. Are you talking? I've got to watch it. I haven't watched you for a while. I've had a peep. I've got to. If you've got to talk fate of your videos, I'm definitely over there. We're all coming over. Yeah, you definitely feel that ancestry. Yes, Kay. The roots, the ancestor, even past lives. Oh, don't worry, Georgie. I'll explain that. You can watch this later on Catch Up. Because if you've got a calling, it will feel like you're being pulled in different directions. They'll be pulling you this way and the world will be pulling you that way. And it's natural to, to fear that. It's natural to feel different and odd and unsure. And do you know what the right thing to do is? To go the way that feels the best. To go the way that feels the magic, the nice, the familiar, but not... It doesn't feel familiar, it just feels good. It feels like a knowing, feels like home. It might be a little scary, like Mr. Nightwalk. Of course it is, because it's the unknown. But it also might be something you're remembering from a past life. It might be you're being called to do something and work with them. Everything's scary when you don't understand it. Everything's scary when you don't know how to work with it. Home, yes, KS. Down the rabbit hole, that's it. That's another author, Lewis Carroll, who was also a witch. And he did the same thing as the Grimm brothers. So what I've done is I've opened this Pre-Foundation Faery course for people just like you. Okay? The watchers, the dreamers. Okay? The ones that hear the things in the wind, who doesn't want to tell anybody because nobody will believe you. That's because they've all got their blinkers on. It's not meant for everybody. Not everybody's meant to hear or see. That's why witches are different. Of course, if we were all witches, witches wouldn't be special, would they? They wouldn't be magic, would it? You did that this morning, Sam. Hi, Emma. And the tree. So it's a 7-week, okay, 7-week course. It's a pre-foundation. It's the core of Faery. So it's real witchcraft. It's working with the elementals. I call them the gentry, which is the Faery. And you get 7 videos, okay? And they are, we start on the 18th of August. And they go straight to your inbox. So your email, so you can watch it, and you've got all week to watch it in your own time. It's a beautiful step-by-step professional video with me. And you also get PDFs, so you'll be able to print out and put in your grimoires. If you haven't got grimoire, put in your folder, or just print them out and enjoy them. It's a quiet invitation into something deeper, into your calling. Now, it's not all fluffy fairy stories and Victorian, wings. This is real fairy, real witchcraft. So if you're feeling that pull, that magic, and you're wondering, is this something paranormal? Is this something supernatural? Is this something magical? Yes, it is. And if you feel it's nice, it might be a little bit scary, but it feels good. And it touches your inner child, doesn't it? How do you feel when that side, your foot is on that side? You'll learn about fairy witchcraft, offerings, kinship, initiation, folklore, and how, most importantly, how to walk the path safely, which is very, very important. And we'll get rid of the crap, okay, and the jargon that goes around. It'll be the truth. Childish and safe, that's because it's touching your inner child, Julia. That's healing. They love to do that. Healing trauma. Very happy and giggly, yes, because they are. Sometimes it can be tricksters. We call glamour magic. But once you learn your pre-foundation, you can then go ahead and put 2 feet into the fairy. Yes, of course, you still have to live here. I'm not saying you're going to jump into a fairy ring and never be seen again. Like Robert Kirk, that's a true story too. He said that he actually did do that. I got some of his book. It's amazing. But yes, you still have to live here, but you've got that escape. You've got that portal, that magical portal that's just for you. That kinship. Kinship means family with the others, the other world. And you don't have to know everything to be a fairy witch and work with them, okay? And you don't have to prove anything to anybody. I've learned this. It doesn't matter. I've had a lot of paranormal experiences. I can assure you, a lot. With the elementals, on Dartmoor, in the places of the wild, the wilderness, in places that people don't go. Okay, in witchcraft, I have had a lot. I've written a book on it. I've written 4 books in the past. With the friends, okay, and on my own. And I tell you now, I don't share it. Not all of it. Because we live in a world that likes to think it's above everything else. That it thinks that it's something special. That, oh, there can't be anything else but human beings. How arrogant. And how sad and how boring. And it's not like that. It's much bigger than that, the universe. Ah, that's okay, Georgina. So if this path is calling you, do you feel that shimmer? Are you feeling the shimmer? Then it's time. I really believe in my years and years and years of studying the fae, studying the magical ones, studying the other dimension, that if you feel the shimmer, then it's time. Goosebumps, yeah. You hear that drum, that feeling, that giggliness, that pleasure. Feel like you've got that one foot in the other world and one foot here. You can tell the difference. It's like wearing 2 different shoes. It's like wearing odd socks. Do you have that feeling? Yes, I do, says Kat every day. Yes, says Emma. Who else have that feeling? It's like having 1 foot over there, 1 foot over there. It's like having odd socks on, odd shoes, but they're invisible. Nobody can see them, only you can feel them. Yeah? You had experience today, Sam? Tell us. Sophie, I've had lots of experiences. Lots. I also have photographic evidence, which I published a book years ago on. But did I blab about it? No, because it was for me. It was for my healing and my stuff. It was for my escape. It was my calling. And that's what this will be for you. It will be for you. It's not to become famous. It's not to prove to the world fairies exist and the elementals and the nature spirits and the paranormal. It's not for that. Because I tell you now, the universe, people out there with blinkers on, you could show them physically, like I did with my book, evidence, and they'd still find an excuse. You could show them it straight in their face, there it is, but they'd still find an excuse to prove you wrong because they're not open. And they're not open because they're not meant to be. They haven't got the calling. If you haven't got the calling, you haven't got the calling. It's simple as that. Not everybody else. This isn't going to be for everyone. But if you feel the shimmer, then you have got the calling. It's simple as that. I understand, Georgie. Don't worry. Now, this course, it is only £69. It is only £69 because it is starter price. It is normally £200. When I've taught this before, it's been £200. Okay, when I've taught this years ago, okay, when I worked with the Americans, it was £200. Okay, so this is only £69. And it is amazing. Next year, it will not be repeated this year. I don't work that way, okay? It will be repeated, this is how I roll, next Llamas, which we're on Llamas now. And the witch is real, okay? The Sabbath. It'll be next Llamas, okay? And then it will be full price. So this is a one-off. I will not be repeating it. I won't need to. Just be. Okay, so we're very lucky. If you are here at this time, at this price, you're here at this price for a reason. It's at the budget price. I really do believe the elementals, the spirits, the universe are pulling you at this price because for whatever reason, they feel, okay, this person can't afford it, or this person needs this right now, and they need it at this price. That's why you're here at this price. If you weren't, you'll be here next year at the next price. Okay, so you can either sign up through my link in my bio. If you go to my link in my bio, okay, you just go down, it will say the fairy course. The Pre-Foundation Faery course. This is a professional course. Okay, I have 4 spaces left. Literally, spaces went before I even launched it. I put the link on and it was gone. People signing up. We only have 3 spaces left. 4 spaces. You will get the opportunity to work with me one-to-one like this, if you want it. Only when the course is on. I don't do one-to-ones unless because I'm very, very busy. Okay. I get, I'm a medium. I do a lot of readings. I do a lot of witchcraft. I also have to study. Okay, so I'm very, very, and also I've got to do my own witchcraft, in connection. I'm very, very busy. So I only open up one-to-ones on courses. So there will be a few spaces there for a few people who want to. Okay. We'll start on the 18th. Spaces are gone, they're gone. Okay. I know, Kat. I don't. It's a TT thing. Just keep going. You're doing amazing. So if you want to walk even deeper and you want to start straight on the 18th, you want to start straight away. Okay. And you want those one-to-one fairy path sessions too. If this has stirred you today, if this has stirred something in you, okay, tell me in this chat. Okay, tell me in this chat. I'm going to have a look at comments now, guys. Tell me in this chat if this has stirred you today. We've got 4 spaces left. You can go in the link in bio and you can do that now and you can grab a link, grab a spot and then tell me, okay. I have been since a child. Emma, do you think this course is for you? Do you feel you are being stirred today? Are you being called? Sam, you've already signed up. It's not going to be repeated next year. And you keep the course for life. Okay? It's for life. Once you got it, you got it. It don't fade. Okay? You'll have all those videos, those trainings, those PDFs. Is it good for starting out? Yes, definitely, Case. It's the pre-foundation. So pre-foundation means the very, very, very beginning. And it's also the core. And as we go through the year, KS, I will be doing more advanced courses. So this is the pre-foundation. And then we go foundation. Then we do degrees. They're not certificated. I'm just, in witchcraft. Ah, that's okay, Sophane. You got into the 18th. Okay? So do you ever wonder if the Fae are real, the nature spirits, the hidden folk, the little ones? Have you ever laid there and thought out a story? Wow, I believe. Wow, I feel so magical when I read these stories. Are you drawn to reading about them? Are you drawn to knowing more about them? And when you do, when you enter the forest, do you feel different? Are they calling you? The thing is, it's a calling. Not everybody will feel this, I can promise you. Because it's not meant for everybody more. Yes, the more we'd understand. Since you was a little girl, KS, do you think this is for you? Do you think this might be the path? You've always felt it, Georgina. Are you ready to jump in? You feel like you've been watching the woods? We probably are. That's another thing. That's a calling. Watching story TV. I love that. Stirring you up. That's what it is, Sam. So if you're here today, you haven't come here by coincidence. You've obviously been attracted for a reason. As a child you did, always in the woods, same here, I relate to you. So again, I have 4 spaces left. Once they're gone, they're gone. It is up to you. It is the pre-foundation. Pre-foundation will not be repeated till 12 months, a year ahead. Okay, it's a long time. So, and at £69, okay, instead of 200. So it is a one-off. It won't be repeated. So if you feel that stirring, you want to take a chance. I don't think £69 is a lot of money for what you get. You get 7 tense videos, okay, of learning step by step. You get 7 lots of PDFs to print out. And you get the opportunity, which you wouldn't normally have, to work in one-to-one with me, mentoring. Okay, if you want that. And that doesn't happen all the time either. Okay. One off, guys. Next year's full price. I like that sound. It is. So, what are they calling you for? Is it for healing? Is it for escape? Is it for friendship? Is it because they're wanting you to go into something and work with them and show the world something, just like I do? Maybe that's your path too. I don't know. Is it to give you light? Is it to excite you and heal the inner child in you? To feel that fun, to feel that enchantment? Are you ready to put both foot in? Are you ready to put both feet into the fairy worlds, the otherworldly? Are you ready to jump through the portal? Because they won't force you. It's a choice. Heal the trauma. That is exactly what they do. Release the inner child. Yes, Georgina, that is exactly what you're being called for. That's exactly, Georgina, how I started off. Through my inner child and childhood trauma. That's exactly how I was called by the Fae. And, well, after all that, I did get healed. And, you know, I still struggle, but I have them. But it's not half of what I did. I've literally come through massively. They can grant you gifts of creativity. I paint just like you. A gift of working in it like I do. I teach. They come with gifts. They come with wisdom. They come with healing. And they are the inner child healers. Because they're childlike themselves. Yeah, it's amazing. It is amazing. I don't believe I would have been here if it wasn't for them. No way. I wouldn't have survived. No way. Absolutely. They can come into people's lives at any time. You may have felt a calling from a child, or you may have felt a calling as you got older. It doesn't matter. That calling is there. They will call you at the right time, and you will keep feeling that calling until you answer it. Now, if you leave it, then you're leaving the opportunities. What are those opportunities? It could be magical gifts. They're very creative creatures. They love art, music, story. They often like people who teach about them and tell the world about them. They like being talked about, which we're doing right now. A lot of authors, a lot of artists are connected with the Fae. Kenneth, who did Wind in the Willows? Kenneth, I can't remember what he was called. Who did Wind in the Willows? He was Fairy Witch. There's also that other guy who did Labyrinth. There's loads who have felt the calling. Do you think they would have got where they got to without that calling? I don't think so. Okay, there's a calling for a reason. I wouldn't have got to where I am without that calling. And it's the most fun, enchanted journey you could ever go on. David Bowie, no, Brian Froud. Brian Froud. Why do you think they created that? Brian Froud, I haven't met him, but I have friends who know him. actually know him. Vicky, a friend of mine, actually knows him. I have 2 friends who spoke to him loads of times. Okay, I don't know him personally, but I have friends who know him. And his wife even looks like, he looks like a fairy, and his wife looks a fairy. They actually look like they are, and they are fairy witches. And he did the he did all the costumes and things for Labyrinth. He designed all the fairies. I know people who know him in the circle, in the witchy circle of the community. He's very fairy, and he always goes on about how the fairy, you know, helped him. He's written books. He's done tarot decks. He's very crazy. He even looks like a fairy. He looks like a little goblin. Okay, we keep having like filtered question. Okay, did someone unmute that? TT keeps doing this on the comments, don't they, guys? Has somebody just allowed that comment come through from Hazy? Admin. Oh, okay. They're flagging a lot of comments, isn't it? Oh, I don't know, Kat. What I might do is log out the app and log back in the app and see if that works. Just keep approving the comments that keep getting flagged. It's ridiculous. I do apologise for anybody who's having that done. So, folks, if this has stirred something in you, again, grab your spot. That's all I'm going to say. The opportunity to hear, the time is here. It is a choice. And I really would say jump down the rabbit hole. It won't be repeated next year. It is £69. It is an amazing price for what you're getting. I won't be repeating it. No way, not at that price. I'd be crazy to. So if you want it, there's only 4 slots left. Once they're gone, they're gone. And literally, I tell you now, they're going quick. So I'm going to leave you with that, okay? And I hope you've enjoyed today's Fairy and Witch challenge. Yeah, so you know what to do if you're feeling drawn, if you're feeling that shimmer, and you feel that you want to follow that other foot down the rabbit hole, that enchantment, that excitement, that magical feeling that you get. Do you want to, and leave the anxiety and the trauma and the shivers behind? Then there's a reason for it. And who knows what you'll be doing next year. Maybe you'll be doing what I'm doing and teaching the Fae. Or maybe you'll be expressing yourself in art and creativity. Or music and bard. Or poetry. Or writing a book like I did do. Bit 4. So, where would you go with the fairy? Let us know. I'd love to catch up with you tomorrow. Okay? So, I'm on again tomorrow at 4:30. Okay, with more fairy. And I'm also on in the morning at 9:30 to 11:30, where we have the tarot. And I get my tarot out. And we're going to ask spirits, you know, some advice and guidance going forward in mediumship. Because that's my other thing. That's my other gift. And that was very given. You don't think I just picked up a pack of cards, did you? Of course I didn't. I had a gift. And that's where my path started with the fairy. So, I'm off, guys. I'll speak to you later. And admin, thanks, guys. You're amazing with all these comments that TT are kind of flagging. So, catch you soon. Bye, everyone. See you later. If you need to contact me, DM me. Bye.